Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Go Spartanburg Podcast. This is a podcast where you can learn all about all the great things there are to do in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm here today at the Chapman Cultural Center, and I'm with Dan Mayer, who is the relatively new president of the Cultural Center. I've been here a couple of times before with the Spartanburg Philharmonic and with the Little Theater, so I'm glad to have Dan on the show to find out what's going on at the top level. Mr. Mayer, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to talk with you more about the Chapman Center.
I know you're fairly new here. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background and how you ended up in Spartanburg?
My background is as an art and entertainment attorney, and I practiced law for about a decade and a half, and then transitioned to be more of a nonprofit executive, and have worked running nonprofit arts organizations in New York, Chicago, Seattle, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and now Spartanburg, South Carolina.
So you're going from the big city to the medium city to a little bit smaller city. How's that going for you?
I enjoy it. It's nice to understand a community, learn about a community, learn what the needs are in a community, and how the arts can partner and serve that community and serve its residents.
Now, I know you haven't been here, but for less than a year, but can you tell us, give us a little bit of background on the Chapman Center and the organizations that preceded it?
Chapman Center has a really long history of serving the community. It is an organization that has had a long history of serving in different capacities. It's been a home for the arts, it's been a funder for the arts, it has programmed and produced the arts itself. It has served the community in different decades in different ways, but always wanting to make sure that it could connect the arts with the residents of Spartanburg County.
Now, the actual physical building of the Chapman Cultural Center has been here for what, about
15 years.
15 years now?
Yep, we're coming up on the 15th anniversary of building the current facility here. Many people remember us when we were in the school down the street, but we've been in this great new facility for 15 years. And we've also now have a second facility at Mayfair Art Studios, and that's been open for about 3 years.
Okay, and if I recall correctly, the name prior to moving here was the Arts Partnership of Greater Spartanburg, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I know this is probably the dumbest question ever, but I should assume that the Chapman family had some big contribution to getting this place built?
So the Chapman family was very instrumental in getting this facility built, but it was actually the efforts of 4 families that came together, and then hundreds of families and different corporations who came forward to raise the capital to build this facility.
Yeah, this is just a wonderful facility here. You have the theater, you've got the art gallery, you've got office buildings.
We have 6 organizations which are headquartered here. We have over 80,000 square feet and serve over 50,000 people each year. We have a science museum, an art museum, a history museum, 2 galleries, a ballet school, Spartanburg Little Theater, Spartanburg Youth Theater, and our offices here.
So as the Chapman Center is more or less the like the parent organization or the funding organization for all these other groups. Is that more or less correct?
Yeah. Yes, we serve as we serve as the umbrella organization for a lot of these different arts partners. We serve 3 functions, and that's sort of what I think a lot of people don't know about the Chapman Center, is that a lot of people see us just as a venue, or just as a funding organization, or just as an arts education organization. And really, we are all 3. So we have a venue for the arts, we give grants for the arts, and we provide a lot of arts education in all 7 school districts in the county. Okay. So it's really a very multifaceted organization, and our support comes from all 3 of those missions or purposes.
Okay. And I know the grants are a major part of your work. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how the grants process works?
Sure, and we're in the middle of changing that and evolving it. Each year we give out over $400,000 in grants. We give out general operating support to about 12 organizations each year. These range from very small budgets to very large budgets. It's the full range of arts organizations in the county. We also have a community grant project program where we give out grants to community-based organizations that are doing an arts project. So like a mural through Wofford College or a arts festival in Pacolet. We give out grants to non-arts organizations that are doing arts activities. We also give out grants to individual artists who are working on a project or need help with equipment or with their practice. So an artist who needs help with supplies or materials or shipping or something that helps them as an artist do their work. So we give out both organizational grants to large organizations, community grants to small organizations, and individual grants to individual artists. And it's really that network that makes it possible for us to serve all the artists and all the community.
So what's the process for applying for and receiving a grant?
You go to our website, you see what our requirements are and what our qualifications are. You fill out the application, you speak with a staff member, and that's all it takes. We try to keep the applications as simple as possible. There are some requirements. Some of our grants, you need to be a 501c3 organization. Some of them you qualify for based on the budget of your project, but there's a lot of opportunity for artists and projects throughout the county. We really understand that art comes in all sizes, and we're here to encourage not only professional arts, but also arts in the community, where the community participates, like in a festival or with a choir. We want to support any and all artistic endeavor in the area.
Are the grants like on an annual basis? I know some grant giving organizations, they decide like once a year who's going to get a grant. Is that the way it is here?
It is, but we have different deadlines. Okay. Our general operating grants, which is our largest program, have one deadline a year based on the size of the organization. Our community grants have 4 deadlines a year, and our equipment grants are ongoing on a rolling basis.
Okay. I have a little bit of experience with grant writing. I did the South Carolina Arts Commission grant application for the Spartanburg Community Band some, 15, 20 years ago. And there's a lot that goes into applying to get that type of money. But
our grants are simpler.
Okay, good.
There is some process because we are accountable, and some of our funding does come from the South Carolina Commission for the Arts. But our grant, we try to keep our grant process as simple as possible.
Okay, so you've got $400,000 going out, so obviously you have to have $400,000 coming in. What are the major sources of your funding?
So we each year run a United Arts campaign, which means that we provide opportunities for donors in the community, corporations in the area, all to give to the arts and give to us, enabling us to make these kind of grants possible and to run this facility. So the grants are used both to subsidize this facility as well as our arts education programs and our grants.
Do you get National Endowment for the Arts money?
Not regularly. We have, during the pandemic, we received some funding, and occasionally when we've had a special project, but most of our money comes from generous donors and corporations in the area.
Okay, yeah, and it's I know it takes quite a bit just to keep the lights on here. I was looking at your website. You've got about, 10 people or more on your staff full-time? Or?
It does take a lot of people to make this place run.
Now you mentioned, I know there's a certain groups that are considered your core organizations. Want to elaborate a little bit on each of those?
We've had just long-term relationships, and work very much in partnership with the Spartanburg Little Theater and the Spartanburg Youth Theater and the Spartanburg Philharmonic, the Science Center, the ballet, Spartanburg Ballet, Spartanburg Art Museum, the Artist Guild. We work with all these organizations, partially because they're on campus, and partially because they're our largest organizations in the county. But we do work with other organizations as well. We work with the Artist Collective. We work with Hatcher Gardens. We work with a lot of different organizations. Our goal is to serve the community through where they access their art. So if it's here on campus, we make funds available, if it's elsewhere in the community, we try to make sure that those organizations have the resources they need as well.
And you mentioned that you have some education programs. Why don't you tell us about those a little bit?
We're very proud of our education programs. We work in every school district in over 35 schools in the county. Each year we bring those schools residencies and performances to make sure that kids get the enrichment in the arts that they need. We just received a grant to do more of that in Title I schools in the county. Title I schools are those which are low income and have fewer opportunities for kids. So we provide your old-fashioned field trips, your assemblies, all the different opportunities for artists to come into the schools and work in the schools. So we have both assemblies, residencies, where an artist comes into the classroom and connects the kids to the curriculum through the arts. So we have tap dancers who come in and teach the kids a little bit about tap dancing, because you learn math through tap dancing, because tap dancing is math and counting. You learn writing and journaling, and then you turn that into a script, and you're teaching performing arts by reinforcing English skills. So there are a lot of opportunities to use the arts to teach the core subjects, and our teaching artists who work in the classrooms use all those tools to make sure that they're working with the classroom teacher to help kids who learn both directly and indirectly, both using the arts and using the arts to access other skills.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. And can you talk a little bit about the Mayfair Mills project that you have? I know that's been around for a few years, but I've never been out there and looked at it. What an artist can apply for a residency out there? Is that how it works?
The Mayfair Art Studio is located in Arcadia, and it's a facility which on the first floor has classrooms and dance studios, and on the second floor has artist studios. So on the second floor we have 19 artists who each have their own space where they create art every month. So we have photographers, visual artists, painters, a variety of different people who create art through different medium. And each of them have a year-to-year lease where they use the space. On the ground floor, we have classrooms where the artists on the second floor can teach, or other artists in the community can come in and teach classes. So we have dance classes, we have stained glass classes, we have a variety of classes on the first floor, and we really encourage all the community to use a lot of the spaces on the first floor.
Okay.
And it provides a home for those 19 artists on the second floor, space to create their art. And we have lots of, once a month, we have an open studio where all the artists on the second floor open their doors and meet community members and talk about their art.
Okay. And you also have an art gallery here on St. John Street as well, right?
Not anything.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. When we were founded, we had a gallery here, okay. But we no longer do. Now that is the space that is used by the USC Upstate Gallery, where USC presents different shows. As I say, as we were talking about earlier, the Chapman Cultural Center has gone through many iterations, and the goal is to be adaptable and to serve the community. So we want to make sure that all artists get an opportunity and that the community can connect and create, and that's why we're here. It's really our three main goals are to serve the community as a venue and home for the arts, as a funder of the arts in all the community, and as someone who can, as a partner in programming that works with school districts, works with different community organizations, and creates programs that connect the arts to community. We also work with a variety of different organizations in different ways. So we also are partnering on working on murals. So many of the murals you see in downtown Spartanburg have been done in collaboration with the Chapman Cultural Center. So there's a new mural going up on the side of the Starbucks building in downtown Spartanburg, which is a collaboration of community mental health organization and the Chapman Center and the artist. So we help nonprofits or different for-profit businesses that would like to create a mural. We help them connect to an artist and work through the process of project managing that mural.
Okay, yeah, I guess most of us are most familiar with the big Spartanburg mural on the side of the building right there in Morgan Square. Was that something you guys had anything to do with?
That was one of the ones we're not directly involved with, but okay. The one that went up, a Hope mural that went up during the pandemic. During the pandemic, it became very important to have public art because we weren't gathering as a community. So how did we express what we were feeling all going through all that? And public art was a way of talking to our community without having to gather when it was difficult to gather. Statistics show that the arts are slower to bounce back from the pandemic, and that's something we're trying to address, that a lot of art businesses are having trouble coming back from the pandemic. And it's something we're very conscious of because the art infrastructure is not as strong as some other industries in town. And so we need to keep supporting and nurturing the arts to make sure that they thrive and survive in this time.
Yeah. I know that the Little Theater has come back strong. I played in the band for the Addams Family show they did in October. They sold out 7 shows in a row, so they seem to have done pretty well.
It's just not consistent across the board, and we're trying to make sure that all the different arts organizations and all the different programs come back stronger, because in truth, there's even more need for the arts now than there was before this. We need to all come together and share arts experiences now more than ever. I'm really delighted to be here. I've really enjoyed getting to know both the town and all the people who live here and all the art and all the community activity. It's been a really great experience for me to learn about this community, and I look forward to continuing to learn for many years to come.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. We're glad to have you here in Spartanburg.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay.